this part of the programme with the Super Team 125s and the ATCCs. The riders told to watch the lights. The lights go out, the guys are underway, and it looks like we may well have another battle between Chrissy Rouse and Jake Dixon at the front of the field, but it is Chrissy Rouse that leads off the line and heads around Cops Corner. See the orange and white bike of Nick Brown just making his way around Cops. So we've got to look out for. Who we got to look out for, should I say? It is Chrissy Rouse, Jake Dixon, but look out also for Tommy Philp and Tommy Mountain. That was the four-way battle at the front of the field. Jess Jones and Jordan Gilbert were also having a good battle a little bit further down the field for 5th and 6th positions as the guys made their way down the Wellington Straight. It is Chrissy Rouse that leads going down the Wellington Straight and in towards Brooklands. But it looks like Tommy Mountain has now gone to the front. So Tommy Mountain leads from Chrissy Rouse in 2nd. It's Tommy Philp in 3rd, but it looks as though Tommy was going up the inside of Chrissy Rouse. I don't think that worked, but also saw the Metrokit 80 type bike of Kyle Ride. It actually is called a Herbie 80 of Kyle Ride. He's right up there in 5th position in amongst these 125 RS Aprilias. In 5th position for Kyle Ride. Excellent ride for Kyle Ride. But it is Chrissy Rouse, Tommy Mountain, Tommy Philp, Jake Dixon at the front of the field as they make their way through Maggots onto Beckett's. See Kyle Ride in 5th position, hanging on to these 125 RS Aprilias of the top guys in this championship. But it is Tommy Mountain that leads down the Wellington Straight from Chrissy Rouse in 2nd, Tommy Philp in 3rd, Jake Dixon in 4th position, Kyle Ride on the Herbie 80 right behind them in 5th. Chrissy Rouse now leads the way. Tommy Mountain down to 2nd. See Kyle Ride going round the outside and up the inside of these 125 RS Aprilias. Obviously the 80cc bikes not as quick as the 125 RS Aprilias, but they are very, very manoeuvrable as they come back down the start-finish straight. It is Chrissy Rouse that leads, but is Tommy Mountain going to go up the inside of him? Indeed he does. Is Chrissy Rouse going to go round the outside and keep that power turned on? It looks like Chrissy has just got the lead, but Tommy Mountain right up alongside him. Tommy Philp and Jake Dixon right in there as well. Jake Dixon up in front of Tommy Philp. So up into 3rd goes Jake Dixon. I think he's moved up into 2nd as well. Indeed he has. It's Chrissy Rouse, Jake Dixon, Tommy Mountain in 3rd, Tommy Philp in 4th, Kyle Ride in 5th position. And there he is, number 77, Kyle Ride in 5th. The leader, of course, of the ATCC class, but up in 5th position overall, right behind the leaders of the 125 Super Team class. It is Chrissy Rouse that leads at Luffield. Turning right-handed around Luffield, they move on to Woodcote. There's Tommy Mountain just in front of Tommy Philp. That's 3rd and 4th positions, but it is Chrissy Rouse that leads. Jake Dixon up there in 2nd. Of course, Jake, the son of former Sidecar World Champion, 2-time Sidecar World Champion Darren Dixon. Good Kent man is Darren, of course, and son Jake live around about the Folkestone area of Kent. Is that helicopter in this race? No. Jake Dixon leads out of Beckett's and onto the Wellington Straight. It is Chrissy Rouse, Tommy Mountain, Kyle Ride up into 4th in front of Tommy Philp. You can see the Aprilia just gets back and up in front of the ATCC bikes as they get onto a longer straight. There's Ben Gilbert, number 32. And that's a couple of riders down. That's Jordan Gilbert that's gone down, I think, at Luffield. And Jess Jones is the other rider down. Jess Jones walking away, holding his right hand by the looks of it. So problems for Jess Jones. Hopefully Jess is okay. As we go back to the leaders once again. That was the battle, of course, for 6th and 7th positions in this Super Team race between Jordan Gilbert and Jess Jones. But once again, back with the leaders, Chrissy Rouse, Jake Dixon, Tommy Mountain at the front. They're beginning to put a little bit of a gap into Tommy Philp. and Tommy's still got that 80cc bike of Kyle Ryde right behind him. Tommy Philp, you can see closing in under braking. He's right back with him once again, and it looks like Tommy Mountain is the rider just in front of Tommy. Yep, that's Tommy Mountain from Tommy Philp, and then it is Kyle Ryde. But back to the front and back onto the start-finish straight, it is Chrissy Rouse that leads Jake Dixon right in the slipstream, trying to get tucked behind the bubble of the 125 RS Aprilia. Back to Cops Corner, Chrissy Rouse from Jake Dixon. Then a little bit of a gap before Tommy Mountain in third, Tommy Philp in fourth. There's number 52. That is Elliot Fricker on the 125 RS Aprilia. Elliot's at the moment down in around about 10th, 11th position. One of the 80cc bikes I can see behind Elliot, and that's number 16, Nathan Westwood. But back to the front of the field once again, and side by side down the Wellington Straight, Chrissy Rouse and Jake Dixon. No real difference in the speed between these two RS125 Aprillas, and really there shouldn't be. It's basically down to how they get it out of a corner, and also if a rider is a little bit more lightweight, should we say, than another. But back to Chrissy Rouse and Jake Dixon at Copper Corner, and they have put a little bit of a gap in to the third and fourth place riders. There's Tommy Philp, Tommy Mountain and Kyle Ryde. It looks like Tommy Philp is up into third as they come into Maggots, then on towards Beckett's. Chrissy Rouse and Jake Dixon out of Beckett's and on to the Wellington Straight as the battles go on further down the field. That looked like Aaron Copeland, number 42. But back to Chrissy Rouse and Jake Dixon coming past the slower rider coming into Brooklands. It is Chrissy from Jake in second position. Looks like Tommy Mountain is back up into third. Just saw them in the background coming out of Brooklands. That's leaders out of Luffield. Last lap flag goes in, checker flag comes out, and they're side by side once again, and Jake Dixon on the grass coming across the start finish line, and the result is going to go the way of Chrissy Rouse once again. Jake Dixon, I don't think is best pleased with that, but the win went to Chrissy Rouse. Jake Dixon in second, Tommy Mountain in third position. There's the official results. Rouse from Dixon, from Mountain, Kyle Ryde in fourth, Tommy Philp in fifth, Sam Thompson in sixth position. The points for the Superteens: Tommy Philp on 331, Jess Jones on 281, Jake Dixon on 279.